up to 30% of men at some point in their life will suffer from premature ejaculation. In this video, I'm going to share exactly what I would do if I was one of those men. So if you want to hear some tips on premature ejaculation, including actionable tips like herbs or Kegel exercises, then watch this video. Let's go. What I would do if is a series where I discuss exactly what I would do if I had a specific issue or goal. So if I wanted to build muscle quickly, or if I wanted to lose weight quickly, or in this case, if I had premature ejaculation. So I'll go over exactly what I would do step by step. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just saying what I would do, and hopefully that prompts further research or further reading from you. So firstly, what exactly is premature ejaculation? Premature ejaculation, simply put, is when a man ejaculates too quickly during sexual intercourse. It's a very, very common problem. Up to 30% of men at some point during their life will have this issue, and 9 out of 10 of the people with this specific issue will ejaculate within the first minute of penetration. This is something no one really speaks about, and as you know, we're creating a safe space here, so I'm hoping this video can benefit somebody. The percentage or statistics on this are quite high for us men not to be having this conversation, especially the ladies who are watching it. Make sure you share this with your partner, your brother, whoever you think will benefit. The issue with premature ejaculation could either be primary or secondary. Primary essentially means it's lifelong, it's pretty much happened since the first sexual experience, or secondary, where it literally happens suddenly or gradually. So you were fine at one point and now not so much. And some of the main reasons for premature ejaculation include nerves, anxiety, stress, relationship issues, masturbation habits, and even medical conditions. And there is also the negative spiral of premature ejaculation. And this is where it happens once, and after it happens, you feel a bit awkward or you get a bad feeling. So this makes you tight, nervous, and more likely to worry for when it happens again. And when it happens again, because you're a bit more tighter, you're a bit worrisome, it happens. And this cycle just keeps going and going and going. I call it the negative spiral. So essentially, with these actionable tips that I'm going to discuss next, we are going to try to break this cycle. So without further ado, let's go over what exactly I would do if I had this issue step by step. The first thing I would do is I would admit I have a problem. Speaking to a lot of men and women whilst researching and making this video, I realized a lot of men tend to blame their partners, and that anger and frustration gets misplaced, and that leads to a lot more insecurities within the relationship. So instead of blaming my partner or putting my partner down, I would admit I have a problem. And this is mainly because no solution can be found if I am not actively looking for a solution. And for me to find a solution, I have to understand that I have a problem. So now that I've admitted I have a problem, when I now interact with my partner, I'm looking to create a safe space for the both of us. And after I understand the problem, I've spoken to my partner a little bit, then I will try to understand and learn myself that this does not make me less of a man. This does not change my personality. It doesn't change my vibrance, my confidence, or who I am. I just have an issue, and that's normal. A lot of people have issues, and I acknowledge that, and I will try to ensure to make it better. So that's the first thing I would do, is admit I have an issue. The second thing I would do is actually speak to a doctor. And the reason why I would visit the doctor is for me to try and get a greater or deeper understanding if the reason for the issue is psychological or physical. A physical reason may be just me not really understanding when I'm about to ejaculate, or it could be inflammation in the prostates, it could be thyroid issues, it could be nerve issues, or it could be hormonal imbalances. So understanding from a physical perspective is something the doctor can potentially help with. And if I find out from the doctor that there are no known physical issues as to why I'm having premature ejaculation, then I know I have a lot of work to do mentally to help relieve or help solve this potential issue. So the third thing I would do to help this issue is a lot of introspection. Now, this is a different one. You know, I want to understand everything I'm thinking or feeling leading up to the moment or during the moment of being intimate. I'll do a lot of thinking here. Am I happy? Am I nervous? Am I excited? Am I anxious? Are there any particular thoughts or feelings that I'm having whilst leading up to the moment during the premature ejaculation, or after. I'd also want to understand, does this premature ejaculation happen all the time? And if it doesn't happen all the time, what is different on the times it does happen and when it does not happen? I would really spend a lot of time internally in my mind to understand this. And I might even look into getting a therapist to help see if there's any issues I personally haven't come to terms with. This is very, very important stuff. The mind plays a very, very big role. And that's something we'll discuss a little bit more later during this video. The fourth thing I would do is Kegels. Simply put, Kegels are very beneficial for men as well as women, and they help strengthen the pelvic floor. Personally, I'd start doing Kegels religiously, as weak pelvic floor muscles might impair your ability to delay ejaculation. Pelvic floor exercises like Kegels can help strengthen these muscles. Me personally, I'd start doing these Kegel exercises religiously, as weak pelvic floor muscles might impair your ability to withhold or delay ejaculation. Pelvic floor exercises like Kegels can help strengthen these muscles, and although this weak pelvic floor issue isn't going to be the main reason for your premature ejaculation, but you have to understand that one thing isn't going to bring about all these benefits. It's a whole host of things done together that potentially can help. So for example, Kegels might make you feel more in control, and if I have a better ability to hold my ejaculation, even if it's just for 1 minute more, that could potentially give me a bit more confidence, reduce my anxiety, thus potentially helping me even more down the line and breaking that cycle that we spoke about earlier. But it's worth noting that results from Kegels won't happen immediately. As with any muscle, it takes time to tone and strengthen. So I'd give myself at least 6 weeks before I expect to see some results. Doing Kegel exercise is quite easy. Simply tighten and hold your pelvic floor muscles for 5 seconds. Count slow and then release your pelvic muscles. Simply put, that's it. You've done 1 Kegel exercise. So you should plan to do 10 to 20 Kegel exercises at least 2 to 3 times a day, per day, and see if you get some results from there. This is definitely a big key, guys, and studies show that this is very, very promising for patients affected with lifelong premature ejaculation. The fifth thing I would do if I had premature ejaculation is to have a deep conversation with my partner. During this conversation, I'll let them know that I have this issue and I'm personally striving to make it better. And the reason why this is important is that it's important to know that you're creating a safe space which is relaxing, trusting, and more importantly, patient, because this process is not a quick and easy fix. It potentially takes time. So as a man, I'll know that my partner has needs, but I'll try to understand or make them understand that I'm doing this for the both of us. So this is not an easy conversation to have. It may be awkward, but it's part of the growth process, and you have to realize that having this conversation, even from a very basic level, can help reduce or relieve the potential anxiety or overthinking leading up to the act. Remember, it's not about going from 1 minute to 1 hour. It's about going from 1 minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds, then to 2 minutes, and slowly building up from there. I'd also try to journal every single interaction. And as men, yeah, we ain't journaling. Most of us don't use diaries and things, but I think journaling is a powerful tool in terms of that, the mind-body connection for starters, but even trying to understand how you think and why you think is leading to some of these issues. So these journals, I'll be writing down how I was feeling, was I nervous, and trying to help with that mind-body connection as I spoke about. As the partner, how can you help? So for the ladies watching this, on behalf of your misters, here is what you should be doing. Firstly, you need to approach the situation with kindness, and it's very, very easy to do little things that men pick up on. So don't subconsciously, in your frustration, make a comment, make the man feel ashamed or embarrassed. You know, this can be very subtle, from like the rolling of your eyes to sighing or going straight to sleep or even pulling out a vibrator without bringing him in. I know this is pretty deep stuff. I know these conversations aren't really being had. I know this video is definitely going to be demonetized, but I think that this message is important because a lot of people are suffering in silence. So what you can do instead is understand that short-term sacrifices and patience will aid with the long-term pleasure. So maybe in subtle ways, ask for the tongue, ask for some fingers, ask for other things, but make it sexy. Make him watch if that's the thing that he wants to do or you want to do. Make it a relaxing, fun environment. Remove all the potential pressure, and that will really, really be helpful in terms of calming down nerves and just making it Like, no pressure, my guy. Whatever happens, happens. I hope you're with me up until this point. I know a lot of people just want to hear about herbs and things like that, but it's a slow process and not one thing is going to lead to a cure. It's a combination of things that could potentially help. So if you're with me so far, make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a comment. The sixth thing I would do right now is to ensure that I'm exercising. Guys, as a whole, we should be focusing on exercise anyway, cardio and weights. And studies show that physical activities has an impact on erectile dysfunction. That is something you need to bear in mind. And especially if these exercises are done at least 4 times a week for a minimum of 40 minutes. So me personally, I would find something I love, whether it's walking, running, swimming, jogging, rowing, boxing, whatever it is, some form of exercise. And the benefits of this is 3 or 4-fold, but let's talk about 2. For one, exercise helps the body adapt to stress, and it also releases happy hormones, which help the body relax. Also, exercise helps with blood flow, and blood flow is very, very important for the strength of your erection. Key things to bear in mind. The 7th thing I would do right now is to work on my diet. You know, diet is a big key. You know, there's causation, there's correlation, and there's indirect benefits to premature ejaculation based on the diet, based on your lifestyle, what you're putting in your body. For example, there's a study that found that there's a relationship between premature ejaculation and levels of seminal magnesium. In the study, those with lower levels of magnesium were the group which had premature ejaculation, and also a decrease in magnesium leads to a decrease in nitric oxide, amongst other things, which is very, very important for premature ejaculation. Food, diet, very, very big key. You know, whether it's the alcohol, whether it's the smoking, being very, very mindful. So ensure that you're eating foods high in zinc, magnesium, iron, iodine, but in general, health and well-being is key. Remember, look good, feel good, do good. It's all interlinked. So it's a cycle. The 8th thing that I would do right now is to buy some herbs. I'd buy herbs like ginkgo biloba, dose seaweed, sea moss, ginseng, mainly ginseng PANAX or PANAX ginseng. I would buy horny goat weed. I would buy tonga ali. I would buy TRIBULUS terrestris. These are some big herbs with key adaptogenic effects, hormone balancing effects, and aphrodisiac properties that may help relax me, but also boost up my libido, but also boost other things that could potentially aid in this journey that I am on. Another key thing is some of these herbs can aid with nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is very important for sexual health, especially the fact that decreased nitric oxide is shown to be associated with high levels of premature ejaculation. But what actually is nitric oxide? Well, nitric oxide is a compound in the body that causes the blood vessels to dilate and widen, and this stimulates the release of other hormones such as insulin and growth hormone. So when you get an erection, it's the nitric oxide that is needed for the blood vessels to relax and for blood to rush in and flow and fill it up. So I'd get some of these herbs to start. You know, there are other herbs, and I'm likely to do a full video on herbs for premature ejaculation. So if that's something you want to see, comment below and let me know. The 9th thing I would do is mental movies. Now, mental movies is a bit of a weird one, but hear me out. Have you ever had a wet dream? Right? During your wet dream, do you remember the before or after the act? That is very unlikely. You're more likely to only remember the middle, which is the act itself. So in reality, that period is a lot shorter than you think. So the mind can literally make you ejaculate within seconds, which is similar to premature ejaculation. It's a mental trick. So I'll understand that I need to try and train the mind. That's my personal opinion, but I think it can be very helpful. Some of you may call this meditation, but I won't complicate it and call it that. It's literally sitting down for 15 to 30 minutes and picturing in your mind the ideal step-by-step movie of your perfect night with the missus or with your girlfriend, thinking this is exactly what I would do. So what I would do is I would close my eyes and I would imagine the warm-up, the lead-up. I'd imagine feeling comfortable. I would bask in that. I would imagine feeling confident. I'd imagine the touch and the closeness. I'd have a good erection. I'd imagine the act. I'd imagine every single detail. I'd imagine lasting for longer. I would imagine the color of the bed sheets, the color of the window. Is it day? Is it nighttime? Picture so detailed so I can feed into my subconscious the need to relax. I would do this mental movie consistently. The mind is a very complicated thing, you know. There's a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. And the way to get into the subconscious mind is through repeating things consciously. So I would repeat this very often. I know it's a bit of a weird one, but literally picture your perfect night consistently. You're slowly tricking the brain, you're slowly helping reduce the anxiousness, reduce any negative thoughts. The last thing I would do is I would change how I masturbate. I'm not going to tell anyone to watch porn or to not watch porn, or to masturbate or to not masturbate. That's a personal decision, and it's in line with some of the key things that you feel within your gut. But personally, I would reduce my consumption of it, and if and when I decide to masturbate, I would use porn just sometimes, but also I would use my mental movie that I created earlier. Okay, but I would also want to understand that what's important during the times I do masturbate is to not ejaculate quickly. You want to use this time to practice starting and stopping, practice going for longer. There's even the start and stop method, you know, practice bringing yourself close to climax and then stop using your Kegel exercises or using your Kegel muscles to bring it back down. And even some might use the squeeze technique here. What's key is to ensure that you're not ejaculating quickly in any form. You know, you're trying to hold your erection for about 10-20 minutes or even longer. I know it's easier said than done, but these key things make some differences. All of these exercises I spoke about, like the start and stop method or the squeeze technique or even Kegels, they can be done with your partner. And that's even fun to do with your partner because it automatically starts reducing the potential anxiousness that you're feeling about getting close to one another. And closeness is key. Being able to chill, no pressure, being just around each other in that state or in those emotions without thinking or worrying about other things. There we have it. If I had that particular issue, here is the 10 things that I would do to help solve it. Did I miss anything? Are there any things that you would add? If so, comment down below in the comments. If you want me to do a particular issue next, whether it's weight loss, weight gain, whatever it may be, comment down below and I'll make a video on that and show you exactly what I would do if I had that issue or goal. If you want to learn more about herbs, click on my face and get my herb guide. And before you go, check out these two videos right here and right here. It's your brother Paulo Tote, certified herbalist nutritionist, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.